are you? How the heck are you?
We're going to do a podcast.
So let's get a little deeper into your story, shall we? Who are you?
Well,
that becomes a sticky wicket. You know, what's your juice? Let's get back on track. You've got a lot of things going on. What is it that you're curious about? You know, what do you do?
Run the world.
Right? Well,
like, let's crumble up some philosophy for you.
boom, 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 boom. It's been a whirlwind for you. What is it that supercharges you about this? Lots going on, lots coming up. Or is that too many stuff? Did I ask too many questions?
No, not too many questions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mind Your Own Business, the Chamber podcast. I'm Mo Beliveau, your host. I'm the executive director for the Chamber, and I am delighted that you are here today. Before we get started with our guest, whom I'm very excited to chat with, I do want to give a shout out to eMedia. They are our partners in this project. They do a fabulous job, and we absolutely love them. I'd like to thank Jeff Mastriani. He is the executive director, and our production coordinator is Jackson Foote here today. So thank you to you. And if you are interested in learning more about eMedia, I highly recommend that you come in to their studio for a visit here in Easthampton. They can help you do all kinds of things, in particular, create your own podcast. So reach out to them, become a member, and it's all groovy. So today we have with us Jennifer Zalkin, and she is with she's with Easthampton Living, which is a hyper living local magazine. And I am so thrilled to bring her energy to you today in this conversation. So let's just jump into it, shall we?
Let's. Yeah.
Jennifer.
Wow.
How the heck are you?
I'm great. I'm thrilled to be here. Truly.
Excellent.
Truly, madly, deeply. Thanks so much for having me.
To get us kicked off and get us started, can you give us a little brief idea of who you are, what you do, and more importantly, why you do it?
Absolutely. So again, I'm Jen Zalkin. I lived in Boston for 15 years, working in the marketing scape, growing startups and small businesses. I worked for a couple nonprofits. But after COVID hit, I felt like I was craving more simplicity. So I found myself out here in Western Mass, absolutely fell in love. And once I kind of established myself here, it was kind of like okay, so now what do I do? How do I use what I know and what I've been doing for the last 15 years to make an impact in the local community that I have fallen in love with here? So that's been kind of my journey for the last 2 years. And in doing so, I found an organization called Best Version Media, which creates this hyper localized format in the form of a print publication that goes to all homeowners, whether or not they want it. There's no subscription needed. It's coming to their doorsteps on a monthly basis. And the basis of what this entails is a means for more deeply connecting the local community, the neighbors, and also businesses. So I found a lot of excitement and enthusiasm around having the opportunity to contribute to Easthampton, something of this sort, because I know it's not something that Easthampton has currently. And also the other exciting, almost challenge, but really just something that's exciting is Easthampton, I've found, has changed so much over the last 10 years.
How long have you been here? Has it been 10 years?
I've been here for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And actually, I moved out here to Northampton. I've always loved Northampton. I was living in Boston. I would come out here when I needed some space to breathe, and I had friends out here. And once I came here, I found more of what I was looking for in Easthampton. I found that I was constantly coming into Easthampton to socialize, to shop, to go to the coffee shop. And then I moved from Northampton to Easthampton, and I fully moved about 3 months ago. So
Oh my
I'm an
gosh.
Easthampton resident as of 3 months.
Nice.
So it is all really fresh.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks so
Welcome.
much. Thank you.
On
Thank you.
So many levels.
What a wonderful little community to really be a part of.
Yes.
I'm so proud. I'm so thankful that my journey has led me here.
Nice. We are too. So can you help us understand what is Easthampton Living
Absolutely.
and how is it different from other publications?
Great question.
I know.
So Easthampton Living is, again, a print publication that is designed to better connect neighbors to each other and also businesses to neighbors. And in doing so, how does it differ from others? It's not about news. We're not talking about the news. We're not talking about divisive issues. We're not talking about even we're talking about what's going on in the town, but it's more from the voice and the spotlight of the people in it. It's a means of storytelling. And that's something that really inspires me. I love storytelling. I have my degree in creative writing. I've always been kind of looking for a way to, use that degree. Marketing, you're always telling a story, but it's usually like a short blip.
Right.
Like something that's easily digestible. In this format, we are putting members of the community and families on the cover in each edition. We're telling their stories because everybody has a story to tell. And we're kind of sandwiching it with the stories of the business owners that make up the community. So in a way, by a business taking part in this, they're essentially sponsoring the opportunity for a community member to tell a story. And it could even be something as, here's my grandmother's recipe and I want to share that with you all. So it's not necessarily like, a 2-page spread. It could just be the opportunity in a short little, spot in the magazine to share something. And really what this does, it makes every member of the community seen, heard, and makes everyone a local celebrity.
Right.
In its basis, the goal is to really sandwich it with an education portion. So that's where businesses now, aside from having like an ad inside, we also really invite them to educate, if it's a dentist, why flossing? If it's a roofer, how to, care for your roof or how to keep your floors. And so just kind of little tidbits of information that
Usable,
relevant, appreciated, necessary, which in a way also kind of keeps your brand top of mind. So it's an all-encompassing kind of little ecosystem within 16 pages worth.
Right.
Where it's, again, about the storytelling, about sharing, what people do, who they are, and how they make even the littlest contribution or impact in the community that makes it so great.
Right. So how many community members do you highlight per issue?
So per issue, there will always be one cover story, which is the main story. That will either be a family or an individual who lives in Easthampton. It could be like me, a transplant, someone who lives here, or it could be somebody whose family generation has been here for years and years and years. But each edition will have the cover story, which is about a 2-page spread. And then my goal really, and this is what makes my job really fun, it's surrounding that cover story with really engaging and inviting content that is also fun, that is also educational. It could be a business spotlight, and it could be, like I said, like a recipe section or, the dogs of Easthampton. But again, each magazine, to answer your question, will have one full story.
Dog of the month.
Dog of the month. Would love that.
I love that.
Dog month. Or Easthampton sports, where are they at? Telling the kids of Easthampton story as well.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of material here.
There sure is.
Yeah.
That's really where I've kind of found myself on this journey and really dove in, because whether I'm meeting with businesses or just people in the community, I cannot wait to tell their stories.
Nice.
Or help them find their story and hone in on it.
That's exciting too.
Yeah.
Right? When their light bulb goes bing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, no, I can't be on the cover. And I don't have a story to tell. And it's like, you do, though. And then we work together to really put that story on paper.
How do you go about selecting folks who are featured?
That's the fun part again, and the challenging part, because there's no there's no like you have to qualify by XYZ.
Right.
It's really just at this point, we want to tell like a Mother's Day story in May.
Yeah.
And I'm working to get this into print. So this is an ongoing project. It truly takes a village to put something like this together.
But you're close to printing.
But I am this close to printing.
The
And again,
inaugural edition.
Totally. But
Yeah.
from what I understand, once this starts hitting doorsteps, the stories will just show up to me.
I'm sure.
And then it'll be my challenge to
Right.
say, okay, who are we going to do or feature each month?
Right.
But again,
your
it's
mission.
limitless.
Yeah. Be careful what you ask for.
I know, right?
All right, so I've got a bunch of questions that I would like to ask you. So let's dive
Hit me.
into that. What inspired you to start Easthampton Living? We already talked about that. Let's see. You already shared the core mission, so moving quickly along. What has been the most significant challenge you faced as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome it?
Great question. I would say the most significant challenge, and it's been such a significant learning for me, is also that I am new here. So every call is a cold call. And cold calling is daunting. I love building connections. I love meeting people. I'm such a people person.
Right.
And that was also one of those things that kind of drove me out of Boston in my roles. Everything was Zoom. There wasn't human interaction. I love the feeling of feeding off of people's energy and kind of having this like awesome kind of energy between each other.
Yep.
And I would definitely say the biggest challenge for me is getting comfortable cold calling, because when you're new someplace,
Right.
every call is cold.
Right.
And, I am so excited and passionate about this project that I'm not sure how that translates over the phone. I've definitely made an effort to, go into businesses and kind of introduce myself in that sense. But I
That's
also
hard too.
know it takes time. It takes time to build trust.
Yep.
And to really kind of, and I hate to say that I'm selling people on this idea, because there's so many different layers of what this is for
You're
businesses.
educating them.
And educating. I'm not like a natural salesperson.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna like close you.
But I think once you tell the story of what it is that you're up to and what this is all about, and the mission and the why behind it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's definitely been my
So it's not
strength
so
in
much.
this.
It's not so much selling.
Yeah.
It's sharing
Totally.
the story.
Exactly.
Again, storytelling.
It's all comes back to storytelling. Truly. Really.
So let's dive a little deeper into the community impact piece. How does Easthampton Living contribute to the local community, and why is that important to you?
Well, now more than ever, life is lived locally. And I think that's the impact even more so of the post-COVID world, where people were craving something deeper. They were craving more human interactions, or, the level of information that we were able to take in was, either not what we want, still to this day. But so in a bigger sense, the impact is to really bring people together,
Right.
to make the focus Easthampton. Who's in Easthampton? Who makes it up? Again, Easthampton has had such a huge changeover in the last 10 years. It is a destination now. This is where people want to live, and they want to raise their families here. And it's really a way of introducing neighbors to each other, but also kind of having a deeper insight of, again, who can I call when I have a need of some sort. So in that sense, it's just deepening the connection that people have to Easthampton and each other.
I think the timing of this too is really important because of the environment that we live in. I think overcoming the barrier of not knowing your neighbor, right, can help ease a lot of the frustration, perhaps, and anxiety, and maybe or fear that can arise from not knowing.
I couldn't agree more.
And I think that's a beautiful way of helping neighbors knowing neighbors.
Totally.
Right? And what lesson have you learned?
I've learned many lessons. Again, this for me is my first venture where I'm essentially working for myself. So there's a level of discipline that you need to build like a muscle. It doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come easily. You say, okay, I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to build my own thing out of nothing. And And it really takes a lot of discipline. It really does. Another learning that I've had, and I remind myself of this every day, a no is not always a no. It's just a not right now.
Correct.
Timing is everything. And, again, as business owners, you want to do what's best for your business. You don't want to shake things up. You want to sleep on things. You want to sleep on things. You want to sleep on it. You want to talk it through. I totally understand that. I don't take any no as a permanent no, unless somebody looks me in the face and says, don't ever come here ever again.
Don't
call me, which I haven't gotten yet.
Yeah.
So again, the constant reminder of even, people oftentimes, more times than not, they love this concept.
Yeah.
They love what we've got going on here. And they like me. I could say that.
They do.
Yeah, and they like
know.
me, and I could tell that it's hard for them to say no, but that's okay. It's okay to say no.
Right.
Just say no,
For the moment.
and everything comes back around.
It's just not now.
It's just a not now.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And we can all feel good about that.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. How has running Easthampton Living changed you personally or professionally?
Oh gosh. Well, personally, again, I kind of took a leap of faith by leaving the place that I knew and loved and kind of saw myself living in forever and started over.
So are you doing anything now? Do you have a gig going on now and this is your side gig? Or
No,
is
this is my full-time gig.
Wow.
Building this.
Wowie.
Yep.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And again, once it becomes
Sometimes
live,
it just doesn't happen if you don't do that.
totally. It's true. Yeah. And that's, one of the learnings in life, I think Wayne Gretzky famously said you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
All right.
And I also say that all over and over again because, he's currently, maybe not soon, as I am a hockey fan if there's anyone out there.
Yeah, but
He's holds the record for the most goals in hockey ever. So you miss the shots you don't take. I'm taking a chance on myself here. I believe in myself. I believe in this format as a marketing professional for businesses. I believe in this format wholeheartedly. And if that doesn't transfer, I don't know what.
And let's just talk a little bit about print media at this point in time, right?
Yes.
Because everything's digital.
Everything is digital, and through this platform, Easthampton Living, we do also offer digital, and we look at it as a campaign. So each time you're in the magazine, that's a campaign. And we pair that with digital options as well, because I believe there's a statistic that says that print and digital paired together is 400% more effective than one or the other. We are living in what feels like and seems to be, yes, a digital world, but I do think there's a lot of value in the lost art of getting mail. A lot of people, you getting something in the mail that you're looking forward to or that's coming for you. I think that's one key there. Again, I also think that right now, and we're seeing this kind of as a trend, whether we want to admit it or not, a lot more people are making a point to put their phone down or take a social media break. And I don't say that as a means of working against that. I also do believe that digital, it has a lot of impact and is very important for marketing. But I think that pairing it with something like a magazine that shows up, it's almost it's less risky and is proven to be more effective.
I have to say that I yearn for print a little bit more now than I did. I miss, I'm a knitter, and there were several publications that I used to enjoy getting, but they don't print anymore.
Yeah.
And also cooking magazines. They don't.
I'm a big cooking magazine person.
And there's just something about sitting on my iPad, flipping through a magazine. I want to have it in my hand.
Yep.
Yep.
Totally.
Like
Me too. As a kid, growing up, I remember I used to get the Zoologic magazine, the National Geographic.
Yeah.
Then as I got older, I fell in love with cooking. I absolutely love the Food Network magazine or Cook's Country or Cook's Illustrated. And so all of those elements it's something that people don't realize that they're missing until it starts showing up. And they're
sometimes I just pine for that medium that I can pick up and just not necessarily even read it. I can just look at the pictures.
Totally.
Right? Without looking at my phone.
Totally. And that's why by design, Easthampton Living, it's not going to be like a 50-page, big, chunky magazine. that arrives.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite concise because, again, it's coming every single month. And so really it's designed to have bite-sized bits of information that's
Which
usable.
people can digest these days.
People can digest. They can put it down. They can pick it back up. And I do have a statistic because, I'm here launching Easthampton Living. But there are 1,600 publications under Best Version Media, who essentially is the organization that handles the things that are way outside of my, like the printing and the delivering. I wouldn't even know where to start with something like that. So I'm very grateful Best Version Media handles that portion. But they have 1,600 of these and more, each month. And the statistics on the readership rate is 89.4% readership per month in these magazines. And they're engaged with, opened about 6 to 7 times each month.
Right.
So it's
That's
not the
what
type
I'm
of thing
saying.
that shows up, you read it, you toss it.
Right.
Oftentimes, and it's because there are neighbors on the cover.
Well,
there are people they know on the cover.
Not only that, but it's beautifully printed.
It is. It is. It really is.
And laid out, and it's a beautiful thing to pick up and look at.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's inviting, and again, it's going to make you feel good. And so oftentimes people
And
just
who
kind
doesn't
of
want to
stack
feel
them
good
up.
these days?
I'll take it from anywhere I could get.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. What aspects of your work bring you the most joy or fulfillment?
Absolutely, just meeting people, shaking hands. Really, at this point, once we launch, I know it will be, again, that storytelling and getting the feedback of how more close-knit people feel or just how happy it's making them. But right now, I am absolutely loving meeting people, whether or not they're business owners, and just hearing who they are and how they got here too, and sharing that in return. It's giving me a lot of joy and fulfillment.
I enjoy getting feedback about the podcast when people will stop me and say, I never knew so-and-so was in business here in town until I saw your podcast or heard it. And I mean, that's the whole point.
Totally.
Yay.
That's why I'm very grateful to be here today as well. Because a lot of people probably have a voicemail for me, or they've heard me calling.
Yeah.
And now they'll get to kind of put a face to the name and get a little bit more insight before I try calling again.
Yeah, man. How do you navigate change and uncertainty in the entrepreneurial landscape?
That's hard. You have to stay nimble. That's something that I've learned. I mentioned in the beginning that I kind of cut my teeth in marketing working for startups, which I've always found to be very exciting and exhilarating and very stressful because everything's always changing. And you're, again, building something out of nothing and you're giving it your all. You must remain nimble. It's a must. And that's like also a muscle. It's not easy. But you can't let any minor change or, something that you hoped for derail.
I would call that a resilience muscle,
Absolutely.
a grit muscle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
And that comes in time. Again, just like building a muscle. So
Yeah.
I do my best. It's still a practice. It's still something you can't just be like, okay, I'm resilient.
Right.
Great.
No.
It's like, in every experience, you learn something new. You learn a new way that you kind of need to twist yourself to still stay comfortable.
And I think part of the process is to have that experience and go, and then just move on.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to.
You just let yourself feel it, deal with it.
Yep. You
then
can't
let
get
it
stuck
go.
in the mud. You got to keep climbing.
Being like when a deer gets chased by a coyote,
Yeah.
right? And they outrun the coyote, and then the coyote gets discouraged and he goes away, and then the deer starts to shake from his head all the way out to his tail, lets it go, and continues on grazing.
And I think also an analogy, I do
Be
like
like a deer.
a lot of sports, but in basketball too, you don't make the shot, you got to clear it. You can't dwell, because then that will affect, again, if I walk into a business and I really see a huge opportunity for them and I love their story and I know it's a need for the people, something that the community needs, and I so badly want them, and they're like, it's not a good time for us, I can't take that into my next meeting.
No.
You just got to clear it.
Got to get that juju.
You're right. Shake it off like the deer.
Leave that juju out in the parking lot. I hear you. What advice would you offer to an inspiring entrepreneur within our community?
Believe in yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Even though it might seem hard, you have to bet on yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You also have to know yourself. I very much know myself, and I learned a lot of new things about myself again on this endeavor of being an entrepreneur and building something on my own. I learned, what I need. I learned how to wake up every day and get my head right. You won't achieve greatness if you don't know what you need to get your head right every single day, so that you can dive in and
Right.
So believe in yourself.
Yeah. I thought of something when you were talking about getting a no. Like what's the worst that's going to happen? They say no. You've heard that before.
Totally.
You know how that feels.
Yep.
Piff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward, you said you're on the verge of publishing.
This close.
What's after that?
After that, then we've got a full circulating magazine that's just a well-oiled machine of new faces on each cover every month.
Nice.
New businesses. I mean, again, it's as many pages as we can fill. So as many businesses who not only want to, and it's a really cool opportunity. Again, I just want to kind of say this again for any business to be a part of this, because when a business is advertising, it essentially is saying, buy me, which works to an extent. But when your ad is under or facing a story, with meaning, now you become, again, sponsoring something where it's saying buy me, but it's also saying like, I'm here and I'm a part of this.
But it's also a little deeper than selling, right?
It is.
It's a little deeper because now you have an opportunity to tell a bit of your story. What is your why? And people want to know that. And that's what people are drawn to is your why, as we know.
Yeah. And again, this is all about putting faces to names. And I know like we're saying the word storytelling like over and over, but it's true to like its basis. Whereas I'll be more apt to buy something or call when I'm in need, when I get a sense of the human behind it. And that's really ultimately, how we live.
That's why I tend to tell people, ditch your pitch. People can see you coming at them with your pitch.
Totally.
Just share who you are.
Totally. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is a cool ongoing means of, again, there's 12 editions in a year. Each edition, it's not the same
focus
ad or focus.
Yeah.
Each one could say, we do this, we also do this, we also do that. Here's an example. And so at the end of a 12-month cycle, now the readership has a way larger sense of all that you two can accomplish together, or all the many facets of the needs that they can get met through you.
Right.
And ultimately, especially in this world, but especially in Easthampton, again, I think people take a lot of pride in living locally.
Yes.
Because what a cool, awesome place to call home.
Yeah.
And so if we can help each other in that sense, help businesses grow, help businesses sustain, and celebrate each other, that's what's coming down the line.
And celebrate the good.
Yep.
Right? Because
there's so much of.
Yes. That we forget.
And at this point, we need each other. If we're focusing on the bigger picture, we're going to, our heads are going to spin off.
Right.
By focusing on what we can control and where we are, that's how we're going to stay moving straight for whatever comes next, you know, in the future here.
Right.
In the bigger picture.
As we are wrapping up here today, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want people to know?
No, I don't think so.
We hit it?
Well,
yes. We hit it.
We hit it.
Yeah.
I think we nailed it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I feel, and I hope that the listeners feel that they have a better understanding of what's to come, whether they're, again, a community member, a business owner, a future entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. So where can the community find you?
So you could find me by email. It's easthamptonliving@gmail.com. That would be the most effective and efficient way to get right to me.
Okay.
And again, even if somebody isn't looking for marketing or has a marketing plan or just kind of wants to learn a little bit more and see what we've got going on, I'd love to hear from everybody. My goal is to touch every business owner and homeowner in Easthampton. Because when my magazine starts coming and you see my face on it and, my welcome, I want you to feel a sense that you know me as well and that I know you.
And you live here.
And I live here.
Yay!
Yeah, and I ain't going nowhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps us up for today. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Sharing what you've got going on, which is going to be beautiful. I can't wait for it to hit the mailboxes.
Same here.
Of Easthampton. And as we sign off, I want to shout out again to Easthampton Media. Thank you so much for all you do to make us look so fabulous. And come visit Easthampton Media. Check out to see what else they're offering and how you can be involved. So they're at easthamptonmedia.org. If you want to know more about the Chamber of Commerce here in Easthampton, we're at easthamptonchamber.org. I would be happy to chat with you about membership, and I would also love to chat with you and give you a tour of our new Work Hub on Union, the Chamber's co-workspace. So, and you can check that out at workhubonunion.com. And with that, peace out, baby.